what is it, separation that we have in the off season. I guess it's kind of like you break up with your girlfriend or something, because the next team ain't going to be the same. So here we are now as San Antonio takes a 3-2 lead over Minnesota. Didn't see that coming. So we're looking like we're getting San Antonio and OKC. Nothing I would like more than to see OKC go down to San Antonio. Minnesota go down to San Antonio. But I guess the best thing I would like to see is Denver to take some time off and get rested. Now, I was thinking today about Jamal Murray's season. Jamal Murray's season was #1 best season of his career by far, but that's the thing, that he's always been my #1, good or bad. And this year he just absolutely kicked ass. I forget all the exact numbers, but the numbers when Jokic was out were just astronomical. He led. So he set the record in 3-pointers for Denver. I don't know if he had the highest shooting the highest shooting percentage from 3. Most threes of his career. Highest points per game. Highest assists and highest rebounds per game of any year in his career. And he played 75 games, I think, which is more than any other starter and pretty much everyone on the team, except for like Bruce Brown. So I think a lot of credit needs to go to Jamal Murray. But could it be that we will never see him play with the Nuggets again? Could he be traded? I don't like the talks of that. There's so much speculation and all these people out there saying, well, if they traded this and then if they did this. And I was telling my wife the other day, the only people I have respect for, I don't even have respect for Jordan going to a different team. My favorite players, and there's only a couple I have, John Elway, Steve Atwater. They played their entire career with one team. And that's how it should be. You ride or die. You may have got it. I mean, it's just like high school. Well, maybe not anymore, but you know, your family went to that school. You're going to go to that school. Everyone puts in the time, the effort, and it's ride or die. Some years you're good, some years you're bad. But that ain't how the NBA is anymore. It's just rapidly changing. But Nikola Jokic isn't your normal NBA player. First off, he's the MVP. Now, some might say, well, what about Shea? What about Wemby? 6 straight for Nikola. Should have been 6 straight. I mean, the statistical year that he had this year and last year, ridiculous. And if you think most valuable player, he's doing things that have never been done before. And his plus minus on the team when he's on the court versus off the court compared to Shea's. I mean, Shea scored 18 points in a freaking playoff game. Basically laid an egg. And Oklahoma City still won by 20. So when you talk about most valuable player, now Wemby might give old Jokic a run for his money because of his freak status. But he's not like Jokic. He isn't. All he does is have extra length to block. So he scares the shit out of people in terms of his blocking. DPOY. And that's the only thing he should be, is DPOY. Jokic is going to barbecue chicken him and everyone else in the paint when he feels like it. He's also going to step out and hit three-pointers. He's also got a super high effective shooting percentage in the mid-range. Nobody's better than Jokic over this last 6 years. But the best thing of all about Jokic is that he, like John Elway, is committed to the team that brought him in. I mean, Jokic was a Nugget when he was 13, right? You've seen that picture of him, a chubby little teenager, preteen, whatever, with the Denver Nugget sweater on in Serbia. It was destiny. And from that fateful day, let's see, what is he, 30 now? So 17 years ago. 2010? 2010 was 17 years. Jeez. 2009? Till 2015, I think. December 15th, 2015. Is it really? Let's ask Rock. Now it's time for our segment, ladies and gentlemen, where we ask Rock. Merry Yokmas is a celebration from the Denver Nuggets to the day that Nikola Jokic first played as a starter, or first started as a Denver Nugget. Is that true? And if so, what was the date of that start?
Nah, I don't think Merry Joke Myth is a thing. That doesn't ring any bells for Nuggets fans. But December 15th is absolutely a fan celebration. That's the day in 2016 when Nikola Jokic became the permanent starter for the Denver Nuggets, and everything changed from there. Fans call it Jokemas.
Yokmas, that's what I was saying. Yokmas.
Yeah, Jokemas is December 15th. That's the day in 2016 when Jokic got his first start as a Denver Nugget and never looked back.
There you go. The 15th for number 15. Can you not see? It's destiny. It's crazy that it was 2016, though. 10 short years later. Was Jokic hurt on Yokmas? I can't remember. But he says he wants to stay a Nugget forever. And I believe he will. So that Supermax extension contract that he will sign will be in July, I believe. He's not eligible to visit it or revisit it until July, if I'm not mistaken. So we're in the off season, and Jokic is riding horses and drinking beer. And to be honest, I feel like he's going to have some surgeries. Wrist, elbow, something. Be nice if he did. I would not be surprised if I heard that Christian Brown, like last year, we heard right after the playoffs, Russell Westbrook, hand surgery. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard Jokic wrist surgery or elbow surgery. Christian Brown, ankle surgery. Who else is hurt with the specific thing? So mark my words, you might see that. Injuries. I think there's a pretty big silver lining in this year, in that we lost in the first round of the playoffs. It forces the team and management and fans to take a break. And that is something that we haven't had in a while. In terms of 4 rounds, 3 rounds, 2 rounds. The playoffs was always a battle. And then they would finish and go play international, Olympics. This year is going to provide the most rest. Now, is there ever a chance that Aaron Gordon's not going to be injured? I don't know. But AG, if you're still up in Denver, let me know. I'll come up and show you how to use peptides to heal your body. It ain't rocket science, and you guys surely can get away with it. Trying to think of the other injuries that are on the table. Jamal was always messing with his shoulder there for a while. The one thing I did want to talk about as the season ended and I started listening to some postseason shows, and they were flabbergasted when Christian Brown came out with a quote saying, "I'm the leader of this team. I didn't get the team ready. I wasn't vocal enough. I wasn't doing my job right. I take responsibility for this." They're all like, "What? What are you talking about? You're the leader of the team." And it was no surprise to me because, and I'll tell you in a minute where I got it from when I first realized it, but to me, Jokic is the alpha. And you got a wolf pack here of 15 dogs. Maybe 20 if you count coaches and stuff. And last year, or before Adelman, it was my opinion that Coach Malone was the alpha. And Jokic was not, and he did not mind it. The problem is when the wolf pack changes, somebody has to take over that role. And Jokic is the alpha when David Adelman is the coach. Unfortunately, Jokic doesn't want it. He doesn't want that position, that responsibility, that status. He just wants to play the right way and make the right play. We should make a little comment or a saying like that. Play the right way and make the right play. Make the right play and pay the play. I think he feels like guys shouldn't have to be told to do certain things, and that is far from the case. I think that he doesn't have any desire to be a leader. If he was the firstborn son instead of the thirdborn son with 2 dominant older brothers, it might be different, but he ain't. He's the baby. And that is what the dynamic is. Jamal Murray, same way. Although I believe he has a sister or an only child. I don't remember. But still, you can tell Jamal Murray's dad is the alpha. And Jamal never... And we all learn. I'm the first grandson, a first son, first. And there's a responsibility that comes, and I think it's wired in you. I was never the alpha when my dad was. He was never the alpha when his dad was. But eventually, the pup leaves the wolf den and starts his own little pack. And every pack needs an alpha. Jokic don't want it. Jamal Murray isn't it. it's my opinion that Jokic kind of bestowed the responsibility onto Christian Brown. And like I said earlier, where I saw it in the beginning was when Coach Malone was the coach. They had a lot of rough post games when things were getting rocky right before he got fired. But every now and then they'd have a good game where Peyton Watson get some blocks and played a badass game, and he'd get the DPOY chain or DPOG, Defensive Player of the Game. And that was Malone's thing. I don't know when they started it. Was it the year after championship? So they get this fake iced out bling chain, DPOG. They hand it to the Defensive Player of the Game. To Jokic, that's like American high school shit. Like in Europe, you don't do that. You show up, you're a professional, you play basketball, and you win, or you get fired. That's Jokic's perspective, obviously. But Malone, I'm not saying one's right or the other. I like the idea of the DPOY chain. I liked it. But I'll tell you who didn't like it, and that was Jokic. And I think to some degree, Christian Brown was always heavily influenced by Jokic. Big buddy, little buddy. But in a wolf pack, when the actual alpha relinquishes their title, there's an unstable dynamic. And that is what the Nuggets are struggling with. That unstable dynamic means that whoever steps up as the alpha, because there always has to be one, it might be too soon for them. And that's what happens with a lot of families nowadays, with kids, parents like literally asking their kids everything. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to eat this? Do you want to do that? And kids are like, I don't want you to ask me fucking questions, parents. I just want you to do the things for me that I need done so that I can live. Kind of a point of contention I've had in parenting. Because my theory is you've got to be a leader to the kids. They're looking at you either way. And inside their little DNA, if they see you relinquishing, it's natural for survival that they take over the role. And that's when you got kids that won't do a damn thing their parents say. Because they're already independent. They lost all the respect in the world for them. And they had nothing. Nothing to give them in terms of respect. And maybe it's justified, you know. But hopefully humanity's realizing that we can't keep blowing smoke up our ass and saying, you know, there are natural roles in this world. This might be controversial, but men should not play competitively in women's leagues. Just because you pretend you're something you're not doesn't make it so. In my opinion, that's a mental illness. And none of us are perfect. We all struggle with what we struggle with, but there are natural roles, and every team has an alpha. And the battle of the alphas was Calvin Booth and Michael Malone. And that's why they both got fired. You might say, well, what about the Cronkies? Aren't they the alphas? Not really. No, because the alpha is leading the pack. Like it's an energy. And if the owners are in the background, for the most part, they don't carry that energy. And I mean, it's a tricky, unnatural dynamic in a system, in a business or corporation or whatever, to where you have these owners who don't want anything to do with the business, or they want to have their hand in the handful of places they want it, but they don't want to deal with all the dirty business, so they delegate to all kinds of other people. Now, rich people can do that, but it doesn't mean it's natural. I think every organization needs an alpha. And that person's reign, it comes to an end at some point. And then the new alpha takes over. And that's what we're struggling with. We don't have the alpha. And Christian Brown is and was. As soon as the DPOY chain bounced, they used to say they'd hand out the DPOY chain, DPOG. Everybody like it. Hell yeah, good job, Peyton. Once, okay, bring it in. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family. And that was Malone breaking it down, with DeAndre Jordan kind of leading the way in the background. And that means a lot. You don't think it does, but it does. That's why coaches in little peewee ball, they pick guys and they say, hey, Johnny, break it down. Because you're bestowing on him a little bit of authority. It's like in the wolf pack, the alpha's like, hey, Johnny, see that little rabbit? Go kill it. And we'll eat it. He doesn't need Johnny to go kill the rabbit. He can kill the rabbit. But he needs Johnny to learn how to kill the rabbit, because eventually old man alpha is going to have to relinquish his throne to Johnny Rabbit or Johnny Wolf. Problem is that Jokic kind of relinquished it too soon to Christian Brown. It was like a hot potato. He's like, Adelman's gone? What do I do? Oh, I ain't doing that. No, I ain't doing that. I don't need to tell you when to show up. I don't need to tell you how hard to play. I don't need to tell you how hard to fight back. I don't need to tell you what is on the line every night when we go kill or be killed up against Minnesota. That's not me. I just play the right way, make the right play. Frustrating. And never once in my life did I think Jamal Murray would be any type of leader or alpha. You can just tell him by his personality. And that's fine. But ironically, he did this year. You could tell there was a little bit of that. If I die on air, that's crazy. I'm having twinging pains in my femoral artery. Where was I? So, yeah, Jamal Murray doesn't have it, doesn't want it, but this year he actually stepped up. And I think he was like, you know what, motherfuckers, I'm going to show up this year and I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to show up in shape. I'm going to go hard from day one, and I'm going to kick ass and take names. So get on board or get the fuck out the way. And I would assume that behind the scenes every now and then he's getting older enough to where he's like, I don't know. Leadership takes a lot of different forms, but the one thing Jokic doesn't do is encourage or praise. It's that same European mentality. Like, that's expected. You're expected to do that. You don't need to be told good job. But a lot of American kids that are raised up, whether they're superstars or not, they need that. Peyton Watson, Julian Strother, and they need Zeke Naji. They may pretend, Spencer Jones, they may pretend like they don't need it. But they need it. I look at these teams and I'm like, man, these are all kids. They're not even that different. Jokic is 30 years old. Spencer Jones, 24, 25, whatever. They're y'all young. But then think back to high school. Like when I was a freshman, I actually went to the biggest school in the state that year from a small school in 8th grade. And I was like overwhelmed. And I ran track, varsity track, Iowa. Have you? And it wasn't like the baddest track team in the world, but we had a couple of throwers on that team. And anyone who knows track knows there's throwers and everyone else. And the throwers, they don't run. They don't usually run. They just throw the shot in the disc, and that's what they do. And we had like a badass state qualifier, state contender in the disc and shot, and he was a monster. I mean, he played football. I played football too, but I was on the scrawny-ass freshman team. Like, we literally had a freshman team, a JV, and a varsity, and the freshman team was all freshmen. And we got our ever-loving asses handed to us, 1-9 that year, I believe. If not 0-10, honestly, I don't remember. Could have been either one. Yours truly was leading receiver, believe it or not, with like 2 receptions for the year. Something like that, crazy. But what's ironic is that same team of freshmen, when they were seniors, went to the state championship. I was no longer at the school at the time, but good for them. Anyway, what was the point? The point was there was an infinite Grand Canyon between me and that thrower in terms of size, maturity. Like, he was the alpha and everyone knew it. And now looking back, it's like he was only 17, 18 years old. But I was 14. And that's the difference between these guys that come in. And Spencer gets reamed one side and down the other by Jokic. And Spencer's hard on himself already, dude. Spencer is the absolute most intelligent and educated person on the Denver Nuggets by a 2x factor. Now, Jokic might be intelligent in terms of basketball IQ, sure. But in terms of just business and, he graduated Stanford. He ain't no slouch. So in some circles, he would be seen as far superior over Jokic, who's probably working in the mailroom or as middle management. But I guarantee if that was the case and Spencer was the CEO of that business and Jokic was a middle manager, he would be a better leader. And leadership is nothing complicated. It's literally knowing the right thing to do, knowing the best thing to do, be willing to do it, and then encouraging other people to do it. You see how that works? You don't encourage other people to do shit you're not willing to do. You're not trying to set up a system where you guys are corrupt corporations, corruption. No, it's your job as the leader is to figure out what the right thing to do is, the best thing to do. Figure out how to do it the best. Be willing to do it. And then training, teaching, encouraging, showing those under you how to do it. Because the more you build everyone up, the better the whole thing gets. I hate to use team analogies in business, and we won't because I hate it. But Jokic doesn't have that. He's hard on people, and it hurts the team. You know, if they're out there on eggshells, you saw it when Jokic went out. They were 10-6 without him. Without the best player in the world, 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, whatever. That was gone, and they went 10-6. They weren't even 10-6 in their next 16 games, I don't believe. Something like 9-9, 8-8. When Joker came back. I think the reason they did so well was they didn't have they played free. They weren't worried. But you got to realize they didn't have an alpha either. Jamal Murray was basically the leader. And in a wolf pack, think of it as like there's 20 wolves in a pack, right? We talked about 20. The alpha is the alpha. But there's going to be subgroups. So the young pups might be 5 of them. If they go out on their own looking for dinner, one of those 5 pups is going to be the alpha in that situation. And every situation is different. When they get back to camp, the wolf den, the main alpha is the main alpha. But that was Jamal Murray. He was out there with the 5 wolf pups saying, hey, let's win these games without him. And he was the little alpha. But it's not his nature. I've said it before. It's crazy that it was bestowed on Christian Brown. And what's even crazier is that David Adelman, as smart as he is, I don't believe that he would ever buy into this idea of leadership. That there's alphas and that you need to be a leader and there has to be a leader and that he's not. I think that's just going to create problems going forward. I mean, who could come in? If Giannis comes in, you got to get rid of Jamal and Aaron Gordon, maybe? Giannis could be somebody that's an alpha. I don't know for sure, but I feel like way more so than Jokic. But who knows? Remains to be seen. We get any comments? No. All right. Well, thank you for your time. 33 minutes. 33 minutes. So this is the Little Nugget Show postseason review. I'm glad you noticed my new thumbnail. It's not quite as terrible as the old one. I like them all. Wrote down a few notes. Trade situations. I don't even like to talk about that. I hope they sign Peyton. Run it back. Jamal, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, all the bad defenders. Who else? I don't think we're going to be able to keep Hardaway, but basically all the starters and Peyton. That's the core, and that needs to be run back. In my opinion. I think there's a pretty good chance that's going to happen. And then the rest of the people, the other 8, maybe half of them are gone. Like Bruce Brown may... Would he sign another vet min, and would they allow him to? Hardaway's going to go get a bag somewhere because he, shot 220 three-pointers this year at a high clip. It was a good year. I had a lot of fun watching a lot of the games. I can tell you which games I didn't have fun watching. Every one they lost. But there are definitely plenty of games that stand out. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of them were when Jokic was out. So here's my hope for next year. Maybe an assistant coach they hire. They hire an assistant coach who takes the alpha role. Because you can do that as a coach. The coach can be the alpha, just like Malone was. The problem is Jokic was coming up into his own. Malone had been there 10 years and watched these little pups grow up. But Jokic was coming into his own, and it was literally time for him to surpass. And at that point, they need to fight, and then the old dog goes down in submission. And the new alpha. But Jokic didn't want it. He never confronted him. As a matter of fact, when Jokic would win the DPOG chain, he would not let him put it on him. He just handed it to him, and then he walked over and just fucking threw it on his chair. Every time. And that pissed me off because, you know, Peyton was like happy to get it, showing it off, and, you know, respect your coach, dude. But that was the thing, is that Jokic was coming into his own as the alpha, but he wasn't taking the role. And in doing so, he was losing the respect he had for the main alpha. And that's why the team broke down. Also could be the case that Christian Brown, if he gets surgery and he gets back to his original form, his explosiveness and his bounciness, where he dunked on Gobert walking up his chest, then he could possibly be the alpha, and that's fine. Let him be a two guard that actually CB should come off the bench, to be honest. They need to get a badass ball handler. That's what they need. They can play defense. A badass ball handler that can play defense. And let Jamal be the shooting guard. Not the point. I mean, you just set the record for three-pointers. I'm just saying. And then you got AG and Peyton as the forwards, right? So you got those two defenders and then a ball handling defender. And then you got Jokic and Murray. I guess Cam could come in for Peyton. He's the 3, right? But you could do different lineups. I mean, Peyton can come off the bench too. But it'll be exciting to see as it comes to fruition in what's crazy is the beginning of the NBA season is right when we go hunting. Last year, I think we watched 5 games while we were hunting. It's the greatest experience of all time. And we're looking forward to doing that. Although we don't know where we're going hunting or when we're going hunting yet until we find out. But that time of year, October, November, is when the season starts. And that's the 10th month. And we are in the 5th month. So we got another 5-6 months. A little off time for the team to rest, recuperate, recover, recharge. And redeem the championship team. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's been fun. It's been real. But it hasn't always been real fun. And, I mean, if I get a wild hair every now and then, I might throw up another Little Nugget Show. I don't plan on doing it for a while. Can't really think of anything else to talk about unless news changes like trades or who knows. Don't really care about the playoffs now. I mean, hopefully OKC gets beat. That's all I care about. It wouldn't even be bad if San Antonio beat OKC and then Detroit beat San Antonio in the finals. I wouldn't be sad. Or even New York Knicks. Throw the dog a bone. The Knicks need something. Man, that city's so crybaby. Old Spike Lee. They need a championship. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to root for the Knicks. Ow. Fucking twinge in my leg, dude. Let's hope that's not a blood clot. Well, I did get COVID. I did not get any vaccines, so my blood should not be clotting. But I think everyone that got COVID has a susceptibility to clots. I guess fuck you, China. And we will see you actually tomorrow on the Grow Show. I got a lot of news to update you with because we are just installing all kinds of new gadgets in the... basically got a new central air system. Ours went out September. Luckily, at the end of the year, it was warm, but not crazy hot when it went out, and I fought it, and I would kick it back on, and I don't know, it was a fight for months. And then it got to be winter, so we didn't have to worry about it. The furnace still worked. And now, just as it starts getting warm, we were able to install a brand new AC system in central air. I don't care if you have the smallest little mud hut. You got to have central air. I mean, it goes without saying when you have grow rooms, but swamp coolers are incredibly ineffective and dirty. So I'm real happy about that, and I got a lot of work to do tonight, and we'll keep you updated on the Grow Show with Flaco Watts. Grow Show live with Flaco Watts tomorrow night at 11. Till then, let's see. This one guy I watch says, be kind. Or no, wait, be good. Work hard. Be kind. Or something like that. I need to come up with a little slogan like that isn't that. Because I'm the last person on earth that'll tell you to be kind. Maybe something opposite, like work hard, do shit right, and don't take shit from stupid people. Like it? You like it? Let me know in the comments. Good night.